Right up here today. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you for being at the meeting this evening. We just have a few routine items before we get into the public comment and committees. Just need a motion to accept the minutes of the regular meeting on November 12th. I also need a motion to accept and order file the minutes of the Committee on Special Education for the dates listed. And lastly, accept and order file the minutes of the Committee on Preschool Special Education. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Megan, seconded by?
Second.
Mike, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That carries. We also have to approve the minutes, the special meeting on November 21st, 2004. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Vince and Mike, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That carries. Okay, public comment. Anybody for public comment? No? Okay. Pretty quiet. Pretty quiet. That moves us to our committees, so we'll move into personnel. Mr. Panini.
I'll be real quick because it's routine and there's nothing really to mention other than the fact that it's routine. So that's it. Anybody have any questions?
Remember, I got records in here.
It's like a reorder.
So, anybody have any questions for Vince? Okay, so by consent, that carries. Athletics, Mr. Fitzgerald.
Just a couple quick notes here. We had Fall Scholar athlete teams. The following teams received that honor: boys soccer, girls soccer, volleyball, girls tennis, golf, girls swimming and diving, and game day cheer. Just remember to receive that, the top 75% of the roster must have a GPA greater than or equal to 90. So quite the achievement. We did have some individual athletes who earned 90 or higher GPAs, so they also received Scholar Athlete pins at the first quarter awards assembly. Golf for next year, we're going to be looking at a new course given the purchase of Kingsbury, Kingswood, whatever you want to call it. Does not sound like it's going to be open next year, so we're still exploring some options. A couple upcoming things to just know: Chick Wrestling Tournament, December 21st. It's a big one, so if you're planning on coming, get here kind of early. And a new teacher meet and greet will be January 10th, the boys basketball game against South Glens Falls. That is all.
Any questions from me?
What time does the wrestling tournament start?
I'll have to get back to you on that one.
Like 9-ish?
I think it's even earlier than that,
What?
usually.
I think registration's at 8. I don't know what time they actually start wrestling.
About how long do those last? Just, I've never been
That
to a
one's an
wrestling tournament in
all-day
my
tournament.
life. Oh,
Anytime
okay.
between 8 a.m. and 4 p.m., come and you'll see some wrestling.
All right.
Yes,
I
maybe
dig
even
it.
6.
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay, any questions? Okay. That moves us to audit. This is from audit.
Okay, and we did not have an audit committee meeting this month, but I guess I'll go over the routine stuff. Did I miss anything, Kevin, you've been faithful?
Sure.
Perfect. So treasurer's report for the month of October, we had in the general fund 7.1 million in receipts, mostly state aid and taxes, and 6.5 in disbursements, with a balance in the general fund of $9.6 million, and a total cash on hand of $13.2 million. For the extracurricular account balances, there was quite a few actually kind of large things. There were quite a few dances. It looks like the middle school had some dancing going on, and the girls cheerleaders, there was something there for choreography, and maybe they did a clinic or something, cheerleaders, I think?
I think so, yeah.
And there's some payments from drama club for the play. And the volleyball team did a really successful fundraiser and donation to the Power of Pink for cancer research. The appropriation status report and revenue status report are in the packet, as well as monthly bills. Did anyone have any questions on any of those? Okay, and then we do also need a resolution for disposal of a laminator.
We actually have 2 laminators. Another one came in today, so it's a laminator in the high school, which we actually did a budget transfer to replace last month. And we also have the laminator in the intermediate school, and they are non-repairable at this point in time, so the resolutions will be for the disposal, so that we can get rid of those.
And the kiln. At the end of the story.
What's that?
The kiln. Yep.
And also in the intermediate school, we have the kiln that no longer works and can't be repaired, so we will be also looking to dispose of that.
Okay.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay. So we do have the two resolutions, as well as we need a motion to approve October's treasurer's report. Do we have a motion for the treasurer's report? So moved. Mike, seconded by?
Second.
Heidi, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That carries. Be it resolved, the Board of Education of the Hudson Falls Central School District approves the disposal of the high school laminator that can no longer be repaired. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Crystal, seconded by?
Second.
Megan, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That carries. Be it resolved, the Board of Education of the Hudson Falls Central School District approves the disposal of the intermediate school laminator as well as the intermediate school kiln that can no longer be repaired. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Crystal, seconded by?
Second.
Mike, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That carries. Okay, that concludes audit. Moves to transportation. Dr. Steele?
Very efficient transportation report. There's no updates on any of the previous items we've talked about in the last couple of months, so we've got a DOT report there, you can read that. The trip report there, you can read that. And as usual, there is a list of gasoline, diesel, and propane costs. Other than that, no updates on anything for this month.
Okay, any questions? That concludes transportation. Thank you, Dr. Steele. Roads and Bridges, Mrs. Bowman.
Well, I've got a couple more items, but not too bad, I promise. There's a bus garage lift, there was a safety issue, so that was shut down for inspection because of an air leak. And in general, they are reviewing the safety protocols at the bus garage. And, okay, next we have the property purchases. There have been updates since our meeting. I can have Kevin fill you in on that, but I guess on both properties, there's progress being made was essentially.
Yeah, so I have some information to share that would be inside of executive session because it has to do with the negotiation for the purchase of a specific property. So that'll be one of the items we cover in there. I don't know if you have anything public session, Kevin, that you can share.
On the other property that we were talking about over by the intermediate school, we are still trying to make arrangements to meet off of that individual to get the finalized paperwork, but there is, my last conversation was there was interest there, so.
So on to the capital project. I think phase 1 approval has come through since our meeting.
Correct.
Is that correct? Okay. So we're approved phase 1. Phase 2, the submission was supposed to be.
Submission is in.
It's set, okay. So there's
Correct.
a lot of movement. So it's
It hasn't been approved yet, but it's in the
It's
review.
submitted. And then phase 3 will be submitted in March, just to kind of recap the 3 phases. And we had Dave McKeegan's last report out before retirement. He said they were wrapping up painting at the middle school. All the district hallways were going to be complete at that point, and then moving on to the cafeterias in the buildings. EPC work, the boilers were all set. He just said there was some fine tuning once the heat load of cold weather came on, and some safety striping and tidying up down there in that room. And lighting work, the interior work, exterior is complete, interior was to start at the primary school, then the kindergarten center, and then head on to the bus garage where they had just finished surveying there for work to be done. And there was also dimmable bulbs for the high school gym that they were going to install a portion of as kind of a test run. So that was it for his report. And then the capital project for 2024-25 would be switches to go with the upgraded lighting. And I don't know if anybody has anything they want to add to that.
So they're about, on all of the EPC, including the lighting, 95%, and the piece that's left is the lighting. Originally, we said we'd be all done by November. It's now December. We're not there. So they told me first week of January was the update we received today from Schoolhouse Construction. One of the things that is holding us up a little bit is the gymnasium. Since there's a lot of use now, it's tough to get in there and do it. They're looking for a solution that works with our light harvesting system that's in there. So we'll get there, it's just taking a little bit longer for that one area.
That's all I know.
Any questions?
Have you heard back? I know you were trying to get that $100,000 limit changed at one point. Have you heard anything back on that recently?
Yeah, so we've advocated for that multiple years, and it hasn't gone anywhere. It didn't end up even in our priorities this year from the wish we section, because we've been told it's not going anywhere, especially this year when we're talking about foundation aid and how they may change the formula to fund that. So nothing new and good to report on that. The only other thing that we did speak about in that was the repeater system for the radios. That work is continuing. I think a good portion has been installed, right, Kevin?
Yeah, all the antennas are in every building, and we have a loaner repeater that's going to be here at the high school Wednesday or Thursday, while we're waiting, hopefully in the next week or so, the other repeaters are going to come in, and all of the handheld units are in, so we're going to put that repeater in hopefully by the end of this week here. I met today with the individuals that we're dealing with, and they're programming all the handhelds right now, and hopefully it's going to move relatively quickly. So hopefully this high school one will be working next week, and then it'll go down to middle school and then each elementary school as they come in. So.
Thanks.
Any other questions for Megan? Okay. That concludes buildings and grounds. We did not have a policy meeting.
No policy, no first read, no second read.
Okay. That moves us to F. Mrs. Nichols.
So I did not attend the dinner, but I know we sent folks, and our core leaders were the entertainment. So do you want to report out on that, Dan?
Yeah, sure. A ton. Jeff was there.
Yeah.
A ton of great comments back on our group. I think there was 40 or 41 students who went over and performed. They did fantastic. They always do fantastic, but we get an awful lot of positive feedback. I'll likely get some more tomorrow when I see more of the superintendents as well. The meeting itself was about board governance and working together as a school board. I don't know if you want to speak to that at all, that portion of the program?
No, it's just the checklist that we provided there last month as far as the communication. That was actually, BOCES provided a very similar, or ASBA provided a very similar checklist. So we're definitely ahead of the game when it comes to that checklist, which is awesome.
And our onboarding of new members with the changes we made when Megan came on to have those sessions before Make the Handbook was where they were trying to get other people to go. So it was a good night for Hudson Falls. I felt the music and things they were talking about were stuff we had been addressing ahead of time.
We felt like we were ahead of the game for sure.
And then I apologize because I have had a couple of emails, but it's December and I'm a working mom and I haven't had a chance to read them about the advocacy liaison and the foundation aid information that came out. So I'm very unprepared to talk about that, but next month I will have a summary of that. And then there's a resolution approval, if you want to talk about that.
Yep, so the resolution is to approve the BOCES legislative priorities, and everyone around the table knows, I mean, the folks in the audience know that I have been talking about how Hudson Falls is not a hold or safe harmless district, that we generate aid based on the formula still. I want to share one number. Over the past 15 years, based on what we should have received, and what we did receive, we have been shorted over $85 million by the state of New York. Here at Hudson Falls, while other school districts have had safe harmless for 15 years and have been overfunded based on what they should have gotten through the foundation aid formula. It doesn't mean those schools didn't need that money to operate, so don't take it the wrong way. It just means that when we go out and advocate for things, over the last couple of years, we said, yeah, we agree, fund the foundation aid formula. Last year was the first time we were fully funded, and last year we were able to say, and this board should say, yep, and maintain same harmless for other schools and do minimums for other schools. This year, I don't know if the Hudson Falls could say that, and if you look at the resolution you're passing, if you had a chance to read it, that is not included in there. Save harmless and do minimums is not in the resolution. So the resolution you're supporting, I think is appropriate for Hudson Falls to approve, right along with all the other school districts. And I did share some of those figures with other school districts in our area, our whole BOCES. I want to thank Kevin for taking the time to go through and put that together. It was a lot of work to go through and get each of the state reports from the last 15 years and put it on a spreadsheet. But we shared it out with BOCES. We shared it out with people, the leaders from NISCUS, and a few other folks in high places that we thought should have that information. I'll probably try to get that to our legislators, our representatives, when I see them next as well. 'Cause I think it's good information for them to have. It doesn't mean we're going to get $85 million we're owed from previous years. That's not the intent. The intent is to show that there's a system that's been funneling funds away from school districts to other school districts, and some people are definitely losing in this when it's cut up this way.
So I have a follow-up question to that. It's tricky because you are on an advocacy team that works for BOCES that has 31 component districts, and about half, around about half are safe harmless and around about half are not. So is this specific to Hudson Falls, but in members who have benefited from hold harmless? Does their
Yep.
resolution look different than ours?
So your resolution looks the same, but the resolution is provided to districts as a Word document. So you could add something additional if you'd like. We are adopting what was provided as the bare bones draft of it, because I believe that
Suits us best.
suits us the best.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank
Well,
you.
I'm not saying that other districts might not include
Mhm,
safe
mhm.
harmless on theirs, but certainly the draft that came from BOCES did not include that.
Great, thank you.
Mhm.
That's all I have.
So you did hear the recommendation regarding the advocacy priorities. Be it resolved, the Board of Education of the Hudson Falls Central School District approves the resolution for the 2025 advocacy priorities. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Seconded by Heidi. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That carries. Okay, that moves us to our superintendent's report. Mr. Ward.
Yeah, so thanks to Mr. Fitzgerald, he took care of the first one. That's brand new. If you can come out and see that, that's a great night here. It's the green carpet event night as well, where there's a ton of elementary kids at the basketball game. We'll get those new staff out there, so they have a big crowd. We used to invite them to board meetings, which was difficult. And you see our crowd. We're a great crowd, right? But we're not. We'd like everybody to see who our new folks are. And really welcome to Hudson Falls. So we'll do that on the 10th. I hope you can come. Progress towards tenure. Like to always say in public sessions, that's going to happen in executive session for sure. So you've got progress towards tenure for teachers and specific administrators tonight as well. Regionalization, a lot of talk about that. We've been a part of it since the beginning. But Commissioner of Education came out with something late last week, sent a letter out, and I think it can be displayed up there, just saying that based on some litigation, it is now optional to be part of a regionalization plan with your BOCES that the state has asked for. My recommendation is that we continue to be part of those regionalization talks, but I don't want to have not run that by the board first. But I know generally we talk about regionalization and sharing and working together all the time. But if the board is dead set against it, I can send a letter by January 15th, I believe is the date. The letter's behind me. But I need to know that. We're going to talk about it tomorrow at the CSO meeting, the Chief School Officers meeting, so I'll have more information then. But I think I just need to hear from the board that we want to continue or we don't want to continue talking about regionalization.
What would the benefit be if not? It's coming.
I think there's some schools who, you cannot be compelled by SED to share things. Is basically what the litigation talks about. So they had to back off on that. Now you can opt out.
Okay.
There's some schools who like to do everything on their own.
Like downstate?
Maybe not looking to share. There was some talk about how if you're part of regionalization, you may be providing services to students who do not go to your school district, and how it can be compelled by the state to use local tax dollars to pay for services. That's what it really was about. It was a lot of lawsuit language is how I would phrase it. But for us, I think the right thing to do is to be a part of it.
I think we can agree that we're good with that.
And then lastly, I shared this in my update, the district shared decision-making team, and I think Kelly shared it in a separate email. We did have a vote at the last meeting, which was last Wednesday or Thursday, We have to vote for membership and guests and all that, that allows for there to be a board member to attend those meetings on a rotating basis. So when we first asked about that, some people had interest. They do happen during the school day. Mrs. Borling is on there as a parent rep, but she had brought to the group that maybe having a board member come and sit as a non-voting member to observe that process would be a good thing. So we're looking for folks who want to do it. We can get the next date out to you ahead of time. We're about an hour, hour and a half, depending on what's on the agenda.
I sent it to them, but they didn't.
Yeah, Kelly, I can do it if you want to sign me up for that one.
And are they always on a Thursday?
That's what I have. Other than I know I'll see you all and talk to you all, but if not, have a great holiday. Enjoy. Thank you for the cookie.
Okay. So we do have a need for executive session, but we do not have a need to vote on anything.
Correct, no action afterwards.
No action after. So just need a motion to enter into executive session.
So moved.
Heidi, seconded by?
Second.
Crystal, all in favor?